Hey, it's Mike here. Today I'm going to tell you about the Utopia integration platform, what makes it unique, how customers use it to automate processes in their business for greater efficiency. I'm going to focus on the top 3 things that, when combined, make this a compelling product in the market. Let's get into it. Firstly, you can host Utopia anywhere. It's incredibly flexible. You can host it in Windows or Linux. You can install it in your cloud provider if you have one, AWS, Azure, or any other provider. You can host it on a VM if you have one. You can host it on-prem if you've got your own hardware. You can even install it on your PC or laptop with really good performance. Because you're installing it in your environment, you have far greater control over the security of that system. You can set it up as you'd like, and it sits behind your own firewall. Great for security. The second thing is that because it's in your environment, you have direct access and direct sole access to all the data in the databases. That isn't the case if you're sending your data off to go and get transformed and processed by a third party. Here, it stays within your environment. You start with a POC, scale it out, and send it to production, all contained in your own environment. And the last benefit, when combined with the other 2 that make this really compelling, is that it's incredibly cost effective. For as little as $80 a month, you get access to all the features in the platform. You can host it yourself and process as much data as you like without any transaction fees. The first customer type I'd like to highlight is developers. May seem a little unusual because they can do anything they want in code, but often they're given a project to do that requires a lot of integration steps, or is a POC and they need a backend that has all the features necessary to scale should the project take off. And rather than starting from scratch in code, they can start with the Utopia platform as the backend, and they've got all the features they need there to scale the project out. Transaction page, retries, and all sorts of other benefits baked into the system. The second is software product vendors. We often engage with software product vendors that are having problems with uptake of their customers integrating to their API. The reason is because they're being prescriptive. They are telling the customer it has to be an XML document, it has to be in this format, this is how you connect to the API, and sometimes there's some funnies in there that take, frankly, months sometimes to resolve, and you need to find a developer to go and do it. If they put Utopia in on top of their API as a layer, they then have an open interface for their customers to integrate to, and their customers can integrate through no code. So it makes it so much easier for them to get on board. They can take any document type they have, XML, JSON, CSV, or Excel. They're all accepted natively by our platform. You don't need a schema. Push the documents in, whatever you have currently, and then you can start integrating through no code. Conversely, if you want to receive a file out of the software product vendor system, you can just configure that transform and get that document into a collection that you can then query to pull the documents. You can use what you have. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The third is integration agencies, or anyone that wants to do third-party integrations on behalf of clients. It's a great platform to host yourself and then provide third-party integration, and you can charge annuity revenue. And your cost base with Utopia is incredibly low, so you can make a great profit on integrations you do. Next, we're going to look at the common processes that we automate. So the first is scheduled extract, transform, load processes. Typically, these are when you're normalizing data between systems, often once a day or 2 or 3 times a day, and you're moving large amounts of data between 2 or more systems just to normalize the data, to make sure you don't have different data silos all over the place. The second is BI reporting. Various tools out there for BI reporting front ends do have backends to manipulate data, but Utopia is just so much more powerful than those backends. If you really want to do some creative stuff and enrich data, Utopia is a nice flexible platform to take disparate data, normalize it, maybe drop it into a SQL database. It makes your visualizations and BI reporting so much easier to create. And last, I'm going to use an example, which is transactions in the supply chain. This is a common one for us, and I'll use this example to highlight some of the sort of systems you may integrate to. So the first would be your accounting package, which is an obvious one. Could be Sage, SAP, SysPro, Microsoft Business Central. It doesn't matter. The second system you might want to integrate is to your warehouse management system, or you may use a third-party logistics provider, and you may want to move stock data or orders and invoices between those 2 parties. You may have an e-commerce system like a Shopify or Wix site. You may even have your own website. You want to connect to the back end and update stock data or whatever it might be. And the last is your CRM system. Salesforce is a very common one that we would look to do, where you're looking to integrate Salesforce more tightly with your accounting package. All of these have one thing in common, is they've got very high transaction volumes. If you are doing these sort of projects in an integration platform as a service where third parties doing the hosting and transforming and processing of that data, it costs you a fortune. It costs you thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, often a lot more. Utopia has no transaction fees. You install the system in your own environment, pay $80 to start, you get a 30-day free trial, and push as much data as you like without the costs escalating accordingly. Next, let's look at the hosting. You can host Utopia just about anywhere, as I've mentioned. And the way we do this is through either Docker Compose or Kubernetes. Docker Compose is a great option if you just want to do a quick installation. It's a bit simpler and good for a small dev project, something that's not mission critical. If you want to set up a highly scalable, highly redundant system, then Kubernetes is an excellent option. Have a look at our Utopia University to find a bit more information about both and how you can install them. And lastly, let's look at price, because that's really important. Our product starts at $80 a month, and that gets you 3 workspaces, which is more than enough for a standard business. You can think of workspaces as ways to divide your business processes up. Each workspace gets its own transaction page. If you are looking to do third-party integrations for lots of different customers, or you are a software product vendor that wants to integrate to tens or hundreds of your suppliers or customers, then you will start looking at the business and enterprise. The only difference between the 3 tiers is the number of workspaces you get. And lastly, let's look at a selection of customers that utilize Utopia currently to process their data. Okay, there you go. That's an introduction to the Utopia integration platform. I hope you found that interesting and informative. You can find out more information on our website or on the Utopia University, and I've put some useful links below to show you how the platform works. Thanks for watching.